So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Georgina Fiorentino and I work for AQA as a Community Engagement and Networks Coordinator. A bit of housekeeping to start off with. This meeting is being recorded. If you could all please place your devices on mute so as to not interrupt the presenters or the recording. Feel free to ask your questions using the chat box below on your screen, or just wait for the end of the presentation and ask your questions then. We'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land in which we meet today and pay respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. So I'm just going to share my slide. So thank you all for joining us in this meeting, which is showcasing AQA services. So AQA is all about resourcing people with spinal cord injuries, or SCI, and other similar disabilities to live well. Today, we will bring together the various services provided by AQA, which will give you the tools to improve your lifestyle, increase your independence, and make the use of supports that will increase your choice and control. AQA services are unique because they are informed by insights from lived experience of SCI. The following is the agenda for today's meeting. I've just done my quick introduction. So the order of services will be peer support and community networks presented by Erdem. We've got Home and Community Services by Emma O'Brien, who's the team leader in Community Engagement and Allied Health. NDIS Support Coordination will be presented by Noha Hanafy, who's the team leader in Support Coordination. Kim Trusler, our occupational therapist, will present on Allied Health. And last but not least, Larnie, who's the practice leader of Coaching and Development, will talk about skill and capacity building. And then we'll have an opportunity for Q&A. So we'll start now with our first presenter. Thank you, Erdem. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Georgina. I think it's going to be a really good session where I'm sure everyone's going to get a lot out of it, regarding how AQA services can help our wider community. So there's a couple of next slides. I'll just read through them. And I think you've touched on it already, and I think the others will be talking about it as well. So pretty much our vision is this, having an inclusive community where people have access to the resources they need to meet the challenges of change and live fully. And again, why we do it, our community, especially people with physical disabilities and spinal cord injury, people with spinal cord injuries, they're the people that we're passionate about. People that we're passionate about helping them, reach their whatever they want to be doing in life. Everyone's got potential, and our aim is to help them achieve their potential. So, as we all know, people with spinal cord injury or other disabilities, life's pretty tough, and what we're going to try to talk about today is it doesn't have to be that tough. As long as you're part of a community, as long as you're aware of other services and reach out, I think life could be a lot better than where it is. But in saying that too, a lot of people's lives are really good as well at the moment. So if we go to the next slide. So yeah, starting with journey of independence. So pretty much everyone, either you're born with a disability, but most of our community either have a traumatic injury, so either through a car accident or work accident or being silly, as I was. I forgot to mention that I'm a C6 quadriplegic after diving into shallow water. But a lot of people have blood clots or other conditions halfway through life or throughout their lives, So we are there to support them through that rehab process in the early days, and also to make sure that it continues once they're back home, to build their confidence, because that's a huge area where people, if they don't have their confidence, they won't reach out or even try to explore what their goals are or to be happy in life. And different ways we do that. We're just looking at the next slide there regarding peer support. Peer support is a huge area that we work in, and we've been working in it for many, many years. And it's pretty much just having the support of someone in a similar situation to yourselves. And a lot of people online now hopefully would have had a touch point with us with peer support. So we want to continue that, not just through the early stages, but all throughout their life, So, yeah, I mean, if I had to say it in words what peer support is for those that don't know, a peer supporter is a person providing peer support who is a mentor that has lived experience of that disability. And peer support is offered to help people, those with spinal cord injuries and other disabilities, and their families as well, to be motivated, explore ideas, gain confidence, and have their questions answered. It can be offered in a wide range, variety of settings that suits them. So it could be one-on-one, and hopefully I'm not getting into too much detail here, but pretty much in a nutshell, we're there to help motivate and answer people's questions. And looking at the peer coaching, so peer coaching is an expansion of peer support, I guess. So that's where we target people's goals, whatever they are, and we work with them to achieve those goals. So we're working on specific areas, and that could be working towards employment, working towards more independence, working towards school, or even sports. So we're there working with them to achieve their goals, whatever they may be. So if we go to the next slide now, Georgina. Once people are had touch points with peer support and they complete their rehab, we found that a lot of people, because we're Melbourne based, and a lot of people with disabilities, they don't live in Melbourne, or they don't want to live in Melbourne. So, thankfully they stay where they grew up or where their own community is. So we saw that there was a need to create all these different community networks. On there, we've got listed quite a few, family and friends. So that group there is mainly for people that hasn't got the disability, but their family and friends, because a lot of services are directed specifically for the person with the disability. So we saw there's a gap for family members and friends with a disability, because they do it tough as well. They also have to deal with the disability as well. So we've set up these groups that catch up once a month, I guess. Everyone's welcome to it. You don't have to have really stories that you want to share. You can just sort of listen to other people's stories as well and gain confidence, and belong to that community where you can share whatever's on your mind and learn from others as well. And on top of that too, we saw that there was a need for the women's group as well. So again, don't want to talk about stats too much, but most people that have a disability are male. So there was a gap there where females weren't able to talk about specific things about themselves. So we created this women's group, and Georgina, you're a big part of this as well. So it's a safe environment for them to meet others, learn off others, and pretty much set and reset their goals as well. And going on to the regional networks, which I started talking about, as you can see, there's quite a few, and we try to make them so people don't have to travel too far. We try to have people in the area meet each other and form these groups and direct it the way they want. So they get special guest speakers talking about whatever specific topics they want to talk about. That could be travel, different types of equipment, disability support work, improving their lifestyles, what type of car they've got or they want to be looking at. So that's fantastic. These have been going for quite a number of years now. And yeah, there's a great response to it. If we go on to the next slide now. So talked about peer support, talked about our community network. So these are always available for people anytime. And this personal development course that we're looking at now, AQA has been doing this for over 10 years now. And what it is, it's all about increasing people's motivation and giving them the tools to not only know what their goals are, but how to break down and achieve those goals. So a goal could be anything from, sliding into bed and dressing, or it could be as big as opening or starting their own business. So this program or this course helps them along that journey as well. So we run it over 5 days. Over 5 days. So it's a video-based program that we brought over from the US, from the Pacific Institute. So they've been doing this for, well over, I think, 30, 40 years. And it's based on scientific knowledge and techniques of positive mindsets, and provides knowledge and understanding and the tools to take control of people's lives. We talk about a lot of keywords in this, one of those keywords is having blind spots, because there's so much information out there that could blur the lines of where we want to be going. So it's just a course that gives you the tools to look out and take control of what you need to reach those goals and achieve what you want to be achieving. So if we move on from there, there's just a couple of quotes here from past participants that have done the course, and this will give you a good idea of what people or how they feel they benefited from the course, because a lot of people, they know that, if they want to achieve stuff, they have to take the first step, and it's not about just taking the first step. We actually got to encourage people to take that first step. And once you do take that first step, doors open, and that's where we want people to be. Everyone's got a huge amount of potential, and we want to work with them in achieving as much of their potential as possible. So I don't know if you can put that next slide on, Georgina. So yeah, this one again, you can see a couple of quotes there that, there's many quotes we could have shown on here, but I thought these were a couple of good ones I thought I'd share. One person who done the course, as you can see, they said, I really appreciated the opportunity to step out of my life and evaluate where I am and where I am going. I think the planning and positive thinking will stay with me and influence the way I talk with my son also. So, yeah, the benefits aren't just for the person doing the course. They actually gain the tools to share what they've learned with other people, so family and friends and even their kids as well. And the other quote there, I'll just read that quickly as well. The course has given me the tools to help me identify where I need to make changes in my thoughts and behaviour to provide positive results in my life. I'm using positive self-talk and affirmations to transform my thinking and beliefs. I mean, look, those two comments might seem like nothing special, but believe me, a lot of people have seen big improvements in the way this course is designed and how it actually gives them the tools to improve and aim towards where they want to be going. The next slide, Georgina, I can't remember what that one was. Oh, okay, so this we'll leave this to the end, but pretty much that's my part of the presentation. People can ask me questions later on, and I'll be able to help them. But yeah, just want to highlight the fact that peer support peer coaching, our community networks. You know, these are areas where I want everyone to know about and be involved in, you know, because it's really important to step out of your comfort zone. There's a lot of people doing well that have got a disability, but there's a lot of people that, you know, aren't getting out of their room. They're scared of just getting out of their comfort zone in case anything happens. You know, that could be a bowel accident or bladder accident. So I'm talking about this dirty stuff now, but I think it's important to mention. But there's solutions for everything. So, you know, if you've got any questions and you want to know more about this sort of stuff, please take note and yeah, get back to us and yeah, we'll tell you more about it.
Fantastic,
So,
Naz. Thank you so much. That was very comprehensive. So we'll might just go on with Emma O'Brien, who's going to talk about home and community services. Thank you, Emma.
Hi everyone. I guess a little bit of background. So my name is Emma. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been working mostly with SCI and complex physical disability for 6 or 7 years now. I started up in Queensland and now I'm here in Melbourne. Been with AQA for the last 2 years and it's been such a fabulous time. Part of what I do is oversee all of the intake that happens at AQA. So if you engage with AQA for whatever reason, any service, any type of program or experience, it has typically had a touch point with someone under my umbrella. So what I have been tasked to showcase to you guys today is our home and community-based services, or our disability support workers. So AQA have been a provider of disability support workers for a very, very long time. We have seen, I guess, the evolution of the role and the evolution of how disability support work has actually changed across time. Which is very cool, and we have attempted to not only keep up with all of those changes, but try to be at the forefront of culturally and socially, what does that mean for the people that we work with. Where that has actually landed us in the last couple of years is that we've narrowed our scope. So we've actually become quite a bespoke service. We'll never be as big as the Independence Australia, Independence Australia on-calls of the world, because of the types of people that we're best suited to support. Our support workers are primarily trained in high physical support needs and a service type that's called a high intensity support, which is a category that's been created by the NDIS and the NDIS funding structure. So a high intensity support is a support that falls into either bowel care, urinary care, medication management, and subcutaneous, subcut and epilepsy management. So if you have a support worker who's providing any sort of hands-on assistance in any of those types of activities, they need to be the provider needs to be registered for to deliver those types of supports under the NDIS registration system, and then the support workers actually need to be clinically trained by a suitably qualified practitioner to deliver those supports. Why that's really important to us is that every single support worker you get with AQA, that's our base level of training. So we have a very small pool of support workers compared to other organisations, because we start right from the beginning where we're talking about the types of intimate services that are being delivered in the home. We are gauging for experience, willingness to learn, discretion and respect. And then all the way through to hands-on training, shadow shifting, orientation shifts, to then having somebody working in the home independently. You'll probably, and most people, I imagine, if you're receiving these types of supports, have had an experience where a support worker arrives and they're either not comfortable, not capable, or they weren't aware that a high intensity support was to be delivered, and that causes a bit of distress for both parties involved, and it makes for a difficult situation. So in terms of disability support work, we really have made a concerted effort to close that risk, making sure that any person, any support worker that you engage with AQA is able to deliver the highest level of support that we're registered to provide. In saying that as well, there's also opportunity for if you're engaging in a home and community based support with us, so getting a disability support worker to come out. If you're not quite satisfied or you'd like things done a little bit differently, we've got a really well connected team here where we bring people in for more training, and that might be delivered in the home with your preferred health professionals. That might be delivered by one of our the health team that we have in the office. It might be coming back through induction again. We've got avenues and opportunities to keep building those skills and building capacity in the support workers. So that's, I guess, the top level of support that we provide. We provide things like community access, getting out and about, just doing the things that you want and need. We've got workers that, you know, go away on trips with their participants. We've got people that just do ad hoc shifts here and there. But I guess the confidence in that is knowing that you can get a worker through AQA and they will be able to deliver every support that we say that we will deliver. In terms of, I guess, engaging AQA, like how do you get a support worker through us? We've done a lot of work in trying to streamline that process. From the customer perspective, all it is you actually just jump on our website and leave us an inquiry. Leave us your name, your email address, phone number, and someone in our community engagement team will give you a call. It's a really important process, a really important piece for us, because our community engagement team is actually supported by occupational therapists. So you might speak to me or one of our other two OTs in that process as a quick chat to say, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about what you might be looking for. Let's get you connected to the right support. Or we also have lived experience in that space as well too. So I think the marrying of both lived experience and OT scope makes for a very unique engagement process, because we want to make sure that when you are connecting with AQA, it's not just about connecting any services. We want the services to actually be able to meet the needs that you're looking to fill. I guess in terms of what we do really well, it is high physical support needs. So we're looking at complex physical disability, and we've purposely narrowed that scope because it's what we're training to. So we have a small cohort of people we've worked with for a long time that fall under psychosocial disability, but it will never be our bread and butter. And that's done by that's through consultation with the participants and their support, their informal supports, making sure that we can establish and set up a relationship, and the expectations about what we can and can't do are all really clear. And then it's a bit of a negotiation going back and forth to speak to what is important to the participant in getting your supports delivered, and where AQA are able to fit into that for those individuals. And then I guess the final piece to that puzzle that I've probably touched on a little bit is the word partnership. So we draw upon what we call partnership at AQA. It's an internal language that we've adopted to really inform the way that we're communicating with other people. Everyone in the office has an invested interest in maintaining these relationships, and making sure it's not about or not making sure, but attempting to support a person to find their place in a system that's actually really difficult and quite intense to navigate. So we as an agency have rules and regulations we've got to follow. We've got policies and procedures just like any other agency you might engage with. However, we know and understand that that experience can be a really rough one for the individuals trying to find the right support for the right needs. So when we approach these conversations, it's it should never be about what the participant can do for AQA, but rather where's the middle ground? So where can we how can we get a little bit creative about the supports that we're providing? How do we link in to other supports that might be in the community and available to you? How do we sort of extend things? And we're trying to look at it from a more holistic approach. It's less about criteria setting and more about, well, does this actually fit? And if it doesn't fit, let's understand why. And then if not, why not? And then if it's not us, then who's the next person? And we're going to make an attempt to reconnect you to that right support. And I think that's probably everything in a nutshell for home and community-based services. I think disability support work is it's a tough time at the moment with all of the sickness and illness that's going around, and everyone's a bit worn out from COVID. We're experiencing all of the same issues in terms of recruitment and filling vacancies as everybody else is, but we're doing our best to keep on top of communications and working flexibly with participants to make it happen. And then I think the final piece to that puzzle is that we have we're 10 days out from a full digital transformation piece. So we've been working tirelessly over the last, I would say probably 2 years to move from paper-based through to digital systems, and then really moving those digital systems into cloud-based formats that are really easy for both the support worker and the participant to work through. So we've in 10 days time, you're going to have access to live updates, full availabilities. You can access it on your mobile phone. It's quite incredible what's coming next. We're just hanging out for that. So if you're connecting with us in the next couple of weeks, bear with us. There's going to be some teething processes, but I'm very confident it's going to make for a super streamlined process. And I think that's all that I had for home and community-based support.
Thank you, Emma. That was fantastic. Summary of which is a very big service that AQA provides, and exciting times coming up ahead, which is really good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. So our next presenter is Noha El Hanafy, who's going to talk all about NDIS support coordination. Thank you, Noha.
Thanks, Georgina. I'm not sure I can talk as much as Emma and Naz can, but I'll try my best. Okay, so I'll start with my background. I come from a teaching background, so I was in the teaching field, teaching children and adults. So at one stage, I was an assessor and a trainer, and I actually taught support workers at one stage as well. So I did aged care, and I did disability step 4, and along other courses that I also taught. And then when NDIS first came out about 7 years ago, it was interesting for me. I stepped in as a support coordinator about 6 years ago. And since then, I've been in support coordination. And only last year, I stopped my assessor and training role and got into support coordination full time. So that's my background with NDIS. And moving from my background, I'm here today to talk about my AQA's support coordination and showcase that. And I can say I am very proud of where we have achieved now today with my team, my current team. When I first started in November 2020 with AQA, we had 23 clients, and perhaps 1 full-time and 2 part-time support coordinators. And today we have 2 full-time support coordinators and 1 part-time. We came with 23 clients. I came to 23 clients today. We have 68 clients that we manage within that time frame that I'm here for. We've done amazing achievements. We've helped people, I can say, with housing. We've helped them achieve goals on their plans. We've helped them come up with new ideas, come up with new ideas. We've created some new environments for them, came up with, we've actually helped people achieve like getting their equipment from NDIS. We went through with a lot of clients through appeals and change of circumstances and changed lives. I can say that now proudly. Okay, so what do we say? What we're strong at? So SC is strong with a few things that we've actually now been standing out in the community with. We are very good at fighting the NDIS, and we put our clients first. So we work towards the client's best interest, and we work with along with our other team members and other people in AQA, like our OTs and our lived experience and everybody else that's in AQA. I guess I can't talk as much. I need to be asked questions so I can answer them. That's how I work. But yes, we've done some great things in SC. So I don't know what else to say, but we are very good at, like I said, appealing with NDIS. I attend some tribunals, and I'm representing some clients with tribunals when they decide to go to AAT. We also work with complex clients, complex environments. We can identify risks. We help support our clients to build their contingency plans. We help them link and build their relationship and keep their relationship with others within the community. We help them to, what else is there? Manage their services deliveries, and we always look forward to have our participants graduate from SC, meaning that they'll one day come back to AQA and say, thank you so much. You've helped us to manage our own plans. We understand NDIS quite well, and we can now self-manage, and we exit them gradually. When they need help, they always come back with questions. We're open to that. So we are not just limited to our clients, but we answer everybody else's clients, especially after they graduate. So they always stay connected with us if they want to. We reach out for pre-planning as well. So I've got a few clients that come with questions to ask me about how do we apply for NDIS, and we start from scratch. And we help them throughout that stage until they get an NDIS plan. We help them to identify their goals. So that's something very important with the NDIS. You've got to know your goals and what you're looking for, so we can actually build a good plan to to get that funding that is needed to achieve the goals. What else do we do? Georgina, help me out. What do we do? I'm trying to look at my notes, but to be honest, I've put like 2 pages of notes, and I don't think I've even followed any of that. I've just speaking my mind.
That's right. I think something I like when I'm telling people about what you guys do, it's about finding really creative solutions to difficult problems. I think the team work with some of the most complex or complicated lives I have ever experienced, all the way through to people who are just probably have just accidentally been awarded support coordination. And I think there's a really nice balance between across the capacity building and teaching people about the NDIS and how to get the most out of their plans and how to advocate for themselves, whilst also making sure that they can come back. Once you finish with support coordination, or maybe you choose an alternative provider for whatever reason, we get calls from clients who moved on from AQA because they didn't get support coordination anymore. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and they still come back and they call. So we've got capacity to just answer the ad hoc questions. Don't feel like you have to. You can only engage a support coordinator for if you have the funding, or the team are afforded the space and the time to be able to just answer the questions and put you back on track. So they're absolutely always available for a phone call if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Emma.
No, thank you, Noha. I do just want to remind people, if they have a specific NDIS support coordination question, to enter it in the chat box or keep it in mind for the end of the presentation, and Noha will be able to assist with your specific question. So thank you, Noha. I'm sure there'll be a question for you.
I work better with questions, Georgina.
Yes, that's perfectly fine. Thank you so much. So if we could move please onto the Allied Health Service. So Kim Trusler is going to present for us, and Kim is our occupational therapist. Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Georgina. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to turn off my webcam because my computer or my internet keeps freezing, and it seems to be working a lot better when I don't have my webcam on. But I just wanted to put a name to a face first. So I'm Kim, and I'm an occupational therapist. I started working at AQA in August last year, and before that I've worked in a few roles, mainly in aged care and community. But when I decided to come across to AQA, I was still kind of figuring out, well, where did I want to take my OT career? And complex physical disabilities was my biggest interest. So I was very lucky to have worked with Emma in the past and being able to work with her again as our team leader. So when I came across in August, we had a very, very small caseload of people getting occupational therapy services at AQA, which was all run by Emma. So once I came across, we've just worked so hard to increase the services that we can offer. So I think we've gone from maybe 10 clients when I started to about maybe 30 active clients and probably about another 30 inactive clients, which is amazing to see how much it's grown. So Emma's worked really, really hard to develop our allied health team. At the moment, we only have occupational therapy, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to engage with other disciplines, so like physio, nursing, mental health, any other services that we feel that would be a right fit for AQA. So within the allied health team, there's Emma, who's our team leader, and she's also an occupational therapist. Myself, we have Mark, who is our graduate occupational therapist, and we also have Paige, who is our allied health assistant, and she also works as a support coordinator in Noha's team. And we work with a range of different disabilities, so spinal cord injuries being obviously our predominant community, but we also work with other clients with complex health conditions like people that have had a stroke, multiple sclerosis, amputees, brain injuries, chronic pain. The list goes on with the amount of clients, the different conditions that we work with. It's probably important just, I guess, to explain a little bit about occupational therapy, because I know that it can be, I guess, not a service that everyone is familiar with. So occupational therapy enables people to participate in activities that are important to them. So this could include self-care, household duties, cooking, community access, shopping, employment, participating in hobbies and leisure activities, so pretty much anything and everything that is considered meaningful to a person. So occupational therapy is a client-centered health profession, and it involves ongoing assessments to understand what activities are important to you, how you currently engage in activities, current limitations and barriers that are preventing your engagement, goals, and then we work with you to offer advice or strategies to improve your functional performance. So some examples of services that we can provide, so functional capacity assessments and reports. So that could be either for accessing funding bodies like the NDIS, or plan reviews, or changes of circumstances, or anything else that could, you could potentially need written evidence to support whatever it is that you're looking into. We also do assistive technology assessments, so that could be scripting a new wheelchair, or looking at trialling and implementing other equipment to facilitate functional performance. We also do modifying home environments, improving access in the community, improving engagement in the community, pressure care management, and anything else that you would consider as meaningful and what we can do to support you. So I guess I definitely find that we are pretty special and unique, and that's because we have the lived experience. We have the peer review, the peer support team that we can work extremely closely with, and help us actually capsulate what some of the difficulties that you might be having and how we can improve that. And having that lived experience is just extremely important. And we also have the support coordinators. So I think anybody that has any experience with the NDIS, whether that be if you're an NDIS participant or you've worked with people that have NDIS in the past, and you have an understanding about how complex it can be, navigating the systems, and being able to work really closely with support coordinators, I feel that just makes our outcomes a lot stronger, and a lot quicker too, which is always good. So probably the most important thing, like how can you access allied health services at AQA? So we accept referrals for both existing clients at AQA or new clients and people that have never engaged with AQA in the past. And you don't have to be accessing other areas of AQA to be able to access allied health. So you don't have to have a support coordinator through AQA, or you don't have to be engaged with the peer support team to be able to access allied health services or OT services. So we accept a range of, we work with a range of funding bodies, so not just NDIS, but we also work with TAC, My Aged Care, and private referrals as well. So you don't have to be just linked in with NDIS. And you can either self-refer, or someone could refer for you, like a family member, support coordinator, or case manager. And this can be done by filling out the web form on AQA's website, or just giving us a call at head office, and we can have a chat with you and work through, like what Emma said before about the community engagement team. Will work with you for intake, and then if we aren't the right fit for whatever reason, we'll work with you to find the right person. That's probably everything. If anyone has any questions later, I'll still be here.
Fantastic, Kim. Thank you so much. I have a question, but I'll ask you later.
No worries.
Okay, so our final presenter is Larnie Boyle, and she will be talking to you about skill and capacity building. Thank you, Larnie.
Thanks very much, Georgina. Thanks very much for having me here today. First of all, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself, my background. So I've been within the disability field now for about 27 years, having worked in Australia, Canada, and also the UK. Specifically, my knowledge around spinal cord injury, I've sort of started to develop that around about 20 years ago, with my involvement in England with a charity called the Backup Trust, which supports people with spinal cord injuries. And I'm soon coming up to a 20-year anniversary of being with my husband, who's paraplegic. So I have a lot of lived experience through living with him. I'm going to tell you about the Living Well project, which is what I'm coordinating, the activities that we've run to date, and also to give you some insight into some of the activities that are coming up later this year and into next year as well. And if you happen to have a pen or pencil to hand and a piece of paper, you might just want to write yourself a couple of notes, reminding yourself of what you've seen already in today's presentation, of what you would like to follow up inquiries about, but also if there's anything in this part of the presentation that you find intriguing and want to find out more about how you can become involved with. So the Living Well project is a grant through the ILC that we gained, and it's about building the capacity of individuals and also organisations around peer-led services. So AQA sees great value in the lived experience, and what we try to build upon is different types of services, courses, sessions, workshops that provide participants who are involved the opportunity to share their own lived experience with others, and also learn from others who may have been there and done that. Just a real immersive environment. So we have, I'm just going to share my screen now. And this one here. So we have currently two, can you see that screen? Yeah, okay. So we've got two main areas that we're providing resources at the moment to assist people to live well with the challenges of life. And that is around wheelchair skills and skills for independence. And what I'm going to do is share some pictures through some of the sessions and courses that we've run that will give you a bit of an insight as to what to anticipate. So majority of our wheelchair skills sessions happen at the rear of their AQA office, if that looks familiar to you. And which is, for those who haven't been there, it's in Fairfield. So we've got Dave Ball here, who is the wheelchair skills trainer, also happens to be my husband, who's going through the early stages of building skill set. And I'm just having difficulty at the moment of changing screens. There we go. Oh, here's someone we recognise. This is an example of building up some confidence, coming up with it from going down a small step. And here's a demonstration of how you can progress your skills to be able to back wheel balance down a slope. And then once we've done some in classroom opportunities to build skill sets and confidence, we like to provide the opportunity to get out into the local community to start transferring those skills. A little bit more challenging within the local community, coming across sort of rough grounds such as cobblestones, drop curbs and cobblestones. And it might be, you know, how do you best manage long slopes? And with our wheelchair skill sessions, we also encourage participants to bring along a buddy, which could be a family member or a friend, or it could be a disability support worker, an allied health professional, somebody else who can follow you on the learning journey and also learn how they can best assist you to be more independent in your wheelchair. So this lady who's assisting the gentleman behind, she's actually not holding onto the wheelchair, which might look a little bit misleading. She's actually just got some spotting straps and is there just in case this gentleman does overtip. So it's more of from a safety feature but he is independently. He's learnt how to go down the slope. It might be the opportunity of learning how to navigate different terrain and get through small passageways. Or it could be learning how to cross railway lines and getting onto public transport. We also had a wheelchair skills social event at Gels Park, which gave people the opportunity to work on their wheelchair skills. And this is just an example here of an everyday activity of getting over a threshold. What are the little tips and tricks that you can put into place that makes that transition easier? And is another example of going across different terrain. So we tend to run our wheelchair skills sessions based on individuals who have similar ability level to start off with. So it could be people who are sort of a novice getting more familiar with their wheelchair, going into intermediate, getting more comfortable in doing the back wheel balance, maybe going down slopes, and then sort of our intermediate to advanced, where they're wanting to do more skills in the community, such as a back wheel balance, going down a long slope, or negotiating trickier curbs and those sorts of things. And we have, you know, what's the reason that people choose to take part in these sessions? It could be wanting to maybe master the use of a new wheelchair. It could be wanting to build upon a skill set to gain more confidence, to be able to get out into the community more easily, to do the things you're wanting to do. It could be adjusting to life change in physical disability, which might have been changed due to maybe health or injury, or just aging with disability. And it's also the opportunity to help educate buddies, which could be carers, family members, or friends. And now for the skills for independence residential courses. So far we've run 3, which extend over 5 days and 4 nights, and they've taken place in Victoria and also in New South Wales at Sargodon-Collaroy. The courses offer the opportunity to be involved in a number of different sessions. We do cover wheelchair skills. This is an example here about how we support somebody who's wanting to learn to go down 2 steps in a supported and safe, controlled environment. It could be learning transfers in and out of a wheelchair, and little aids that you might not have come across before to assist that. Could be also transfers on and off a bed, or in and out of a different size vehicle that you're used to. Then we also run group sessions where the group leaders facilitate conversations around pain and fatigue. It could be skincare, living well with spinal cord injury, whatever that means to you, around goal setting. And the courses are really tailor-made to the individual needs of those who are involved in the course. So before the course, we have a conversation with everyone to find out what it is that they really want to improve on, to develop. And then we find a way of building the course around that. And there's a lot of fun and team building involved with it as well. So I'll unshare that one now. So without talking too much more about what it is that we have done, I'm now going to speak to what we are planning to offer coming up in the future. So we'll be offering more wheelchair skills in the community, which up to now have just been manual wheelchair skills. We are further developing the space so we can offer power wheelchair skills. We're looking to provide some more social and wheelchair days out in the community, wheelchair skills days out in the community. So it's got that lovely social element, catch up with people. We're also looking to, in July, we're going to the Gippsland region and we're going to be running a wheelchair skills there for people who are in that area. We definitely invite you to come along. And then in terms of our skills for independence courses, we're looking to run more in Victoria and also New South Wales. Listening to the needs, we're looking at adapting our courses to be able to accommodate family members because they're wanting to learn more about how they can be better support and connected and support their loved ones with a spinal cord injury. And also running a short women's course. We also acknowledge that residential courses aren't for everybody, for whatever reason that may be. So we're going to be later this year offering some of these courses online as workshops. If you're wanting to find out more about how you can access funding to engage in any of these services, what I would encourage you to do is to reach out and ask to have a conversation with me because I can explore those options with you. And I don't want you to ever think that you need to discount yourself in being involved in any of these offerings because you think that you can't afford it. There are ways in which we can find a way to support you to be able to take part. And I understand that there's going to be more information coming up about how you can share your inquiries with AQA so we can follow up with you. But just before I leave, I'm going to share a short video about wheelchair skills in the community around public transport. So I'm just going to bring that up now and share my screen. But for now, I'm going to say thanks very much for having me and I look forward to receiving any inquiries.
Hello AQA community, we're here today to talk about wheelchair skills program. My name's Josh and to my right is Naz.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, as you know, the other day we had our very first wheelchair skills training program, and it was an opportunity to get those people that are just out of rehab or haven't got the motivation to go out, to give them the experience with people with experience with spinal cord injury.
Exactly. Now we did this in conjunction with Yarra Tram, so a big thank you there, Naz. Now first up, we had a stationary tram, Naz. Fill us in again.
We did. So, thank you to Yarra Trams again for giving us a tram for our own access for 2 hours. So just let us guys, without any pressure of getting on and off the tram and trying to weave our way through other passengers, we were able to find a safe spot and also just to see the facilities on the tram as well.
Yeah, because there's things people don't know about, maybe pressing buttons, assistance, all that. So from there, we then went and had lunch. So we went into the depot because we had some of our mentors come along as well. So it's really great that we had, I guess, some real individual conversations.
A lot of people haven't got confidence, especially just out of rehab. And it's a good opportunity to share their experiences with others with spinal cord injuries.
And then we had a live demo, Naz. So we went down to the super stop and in the real world.
So part of that, Josh, was to go along footpaths and cross some curbs and get over some intersections, which some of the guys wouldn't have done before.
Yeah, some of the basic skills. So why don't we check it out? As you saw, guys, an awesome day. We've actually got some quotes. Naz, hit us.
I'll read one out from one of the participants, Josh, and what he said was, great opportunity to connect with others with spinal cord injury, good to get tips from others who've been with a spinal cord injury for a while. Good opportunity to access facilities you may not ordinarily use. So that's a good quote, and the other quotes were pretty positive as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Now I know you, the viewer at home, is thinking, I want to be a part of this. When is the next one coming up? Nas, are they allowed to have another opportunity?
Of course they can, yeah. I mean, that was one version of many to come, Josh, and we're going to tailor it so people can do it one-on-one or in a group setting as well. And yeah, we're going to have dates coming up as well.
So what's the next step?
The next step is just to contact us. You know, on the screen is our phone number and email address. All you've got to do is shout out and we'll get in touch and get it all happening.
Fantastic. Well, Nas, thanks for your time today, and thank you for your time, viewers at home.
Thank you. Just stop sharing.
Thank you, Larnie.
Thank you.
Great video. Very good. Okay, I haven't seen any questions pop up on the chat box, so I'm presuming people want to take their devices off, take the mute off their devices and speak their question. So anyone have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or start asking away. There might be some shy people out there, but I've got a question. I'll first of all, I'll direct one to Emma, if that's okay. So with the home and community services, do you accept people that just have funding, for example, NDIS, TAC, or work cover?
No, we don't. So our primary, most of the people that we work with are funded. There are lots of different types and buckets of funding out there. So our two major ones are TAC and NDIS. We've got a handful of work cover clients. We've got a handful of home care packages. And then also a handful of people who are privately funding themselves. So they might not actually have any funding available to them. So they might be from maybe overseas and living in Australia, and they don't qualify for government funding, or they slip into a bit of a gap in criteria to meet the funding elements. So don't feel like you have to be funded to connect with us. It's definitely worth at least just having the conversation. And then if we're not the right fit, we won't leave you in the abyss. We'll try and connect you to where the next spot is to go.
Great, thank you, Emma. Now you could continue with this question, or possibly Kim, whoever wants to answer is great, it'll be good. With regards to physiotherapy not being a service yet from AQA, would there be a preferred physiotherapist that you would recommend people to if they ask the question?
It depends on what the need is. Just like OTs and all other health professionals out there, we've all got different scopes and things that we're really good at. So if you have a conversation with Kim or community engagement about what you might be looking for, we'll connect you that way. So maybe you want to get in the pool, maybe you want to, maybe you're actually looking for some intensive neuro rehab, maybe it's something else entirely. So yeah, have the conversation, because it depends what it is that you'd like to achieve.
Yeah, I guess what I'm thinking is for looking for physiotherapists that would have experience with spinal cord injury. A lot of people are frightened just to go to their local physio and them not having any idea or any experience, and they're concerned about them causing more damage. So is that where maybe you'd point them to some neuro therapy?
Absolutely. Yeah, if that's absolutely a concern, you're just not sure, you're looking for some SCI experience. We've got a handful of people that we know are around. The wait lists are long because, of course, everyone is under pressure and highly sought after. So we're happy to either make the referral or we can connect you to that place. And then, you know, it depends on things like, do you want the therapy to occur in the home? Do you want to go to the clinic? Where are you located? There's lots of different options available, and we'll do our best to make sure it fits.
Excellent. So I've just seen a question to Larnie. If you're still there, Larnie, are you able to conduct specific skills, transfer skills, as opposed to just wheelchair skills?
Yes, absolutely. And we've actually got an event coming up in, off the top of my head, I think it's the 15th of July. We're going to be running a session at the AQA office that focuses just on transfer skills. So we're going to be getting in a high-low bed. So if people wanting to practice on a height that's equivalent to what they have at home, we can do that. And we'll have couches and seats and those sorts of things of people wanting to practice that as well. And also floor to chair if that's of interest to anyone.
Thank you. I'll be in that course.
Okay, you're on.
Wafi, you've raised your hand. Would you like to ask your question?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
So I'm looking for someone to do my my gardening, like lawn mowing, and I'm a TSC client. I'm not sure if they have like a support out there for for gardening services.
Are you asking for AQA specific support or just general support?
Just general, like do they, like for example, do TSC cover gardening services?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that one off the top of my head. Does anybody else in the group know, or do you want me to go back and find out?
Just
Okay,
like wondering.
Yeah, it's a good question. What I'll do is I might just grab your email from Georgina and I'll send you some links with some information.
Yeah, that would be great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Just checking for more questions. Oh, that was a fabulous comment from Karen. That's good. Has anyone else got a question for any of our presenters or any of the services that we've showcased today? Feel free to raise your hand or ask the question. We may have been really comprehensive with our presentation that everyone's got their answers. We've got a question. Is there people to discuss travel with? I guess what we could listen to your particular question and we'll be able to see if that's okay. We do have Naz may be able to answer this question. There is a gentleman that it talks about travel and accessible travel. Naz?
Yeah, I might jump in there, Georgina. Thanks for that. It's a good question. I think the question may be related around am I able to travel if I've got a disability, or how that works, what's that process is. So depends if the question is around that. I can definitely answer that question because I've flown quite a lot, and a lot of our volunteers with different levels of disability have flown too. So that could be international, domestic, could be many different ways of traveling. So if I can get more information about that question, I'm happy to answer it. But like you said, there's an organisation called Travelability, Georgina. So this is a full service company that organises trips for you, including accommodation, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if there's a second part to that question that I can talk about.
Yeah, so we've got Travelability, but we also have our peer support team, many of which have travelled overseas and interstate. We've got a lot of experience travelling in aeroplanes and people with different levels of disability that could help you with your particular question. So just please contact the AQA office and ask to speak to, I guess, someone in the peer support team to start off with, and we can direct your call that way. So Larnie's mentioned, oops, I've just lost that.
That's right. I can
Oh, you
speak
can
to it.
talk to that. Yep.
Yeah. So on the Skills for Independence course, one of the course modules is around planning to stay away from home, which seems to be a really popular module that people are wanting to find out more about. We're actually going to bring this one online. So what we're looking to do might be around about July, August time, is to run an online workshop to give people the opportunity to explore what is some of the planning that they need to take in consideration in preparing to go away, and planning for, okay, well, if things don't quite go to plan while you're away, what are the things that you could be mindful of to be best prepared? So if you're interested in taking part in that, do let us know. We can keep you informed.
Noha has also mentioned that support coordination can help with funding options through NDIS, if that's relevant to the question.
And Stephanie, you've raised your hand. Have you got a question?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for yet another great session. So thank you so much for organising it. My question was more around, I suppose, the more social aspects of the AQA and what's readily available. And also, I know recently there was a survey that was sent out asking people, you know, are you willing to participate, and what kind of event would you like it to be? I suppose I would like to know, was there much uptake on that? And the second question, is there also a central location where we can see up and coming events for in the months to come? Only because I'm working full time during the week, so I do sometimes struggle to attend any sessions when it is midweek, but I do fully understand that, you know, that may be preferred by everybody else. So yeah, that was two questions that I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. To answer your second question or your second comment about not being at work and not being able to attend many of the webinars or meetings or even events, unfortunately, that is the case for many people. They're actually working, so we do endeavour to try and do some of the events or conduct the meetings on the weekend, in particular for the women's group, which I'm probably thinking that you're talking about. There was a survey sent out for the women's group, and there's been a variety of responses, and it's quite evenly spread out throughout the whole week that they would like the sessions. So it's going to be a matter of an alternating sort of scenario where one month we will do it on a weekend, and another month during the week, and another time it's a Zoom, and another time it's a face-to-face meeting. People are still have some concerns with the health situation out there in the world, which is understandable. So we'll try and cater for everybody's needs. So central location situation, that we try to do that as best possible. We try and look at AQA, Fairfield being the central location for a lot of our events. I want to draw upon our environment or our office and its capabilities of conducting barbecues or other sporting type events. Wheelchair Skills is located there, as Larnie mentioned earlier. So we will try and cater for everybody at some point during the year. Does that answer your question, Stephanie?
Yeah, that's great.
Sorry, I was also going to mention, if you go to the AQA website and go to the events page, you'll see information there about upcoming events.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Now, just looking at the chat. Oh, I'm going to make this larger. I can't see. Jenna. Thank you, Jenna, for your comment of a very informative session, and terrific to hear of all the great services that AQA is running. Thank you for mentioning to the people that you come across in your annual review clinics at the Austin. Also, in regard to physio, there is also Janet McCarthy at our outpatient physio at the Austin for any clients of the Victorian Spinal Cord Service. Many of you may have met Janet in prior webinars. She's a great physiotherapist there with lots of experience. So thank you, Jenna, for that comment. We've got a question from Brata. Is there an AT that can help me in reaching big stuff that a reacher cannot be used? For example, and help you change a light bulb. That's quite interesting. Maybe our OT, Kim, could help us, or even Emma.
Take it away, Kim.
Very hard, I guess, recommending assistive technology or equipment without knowing the person or knowing their level of functioning. So I'm going to say off the top of my head, no, I can't think of a specific item, but it's definitely up occupational therapy's alley to help find a solution. So that could be definitely something if we could get an email address so we could get a little bit more information about some of the difficulties and see if that is something that we could potentially assist with. I don't know if Emma wanted to add anything else there.
No, beautifully said.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. Great questions. Are there any more questions from anyone from this group that's left? No? Do any of the presenters want to add anything else that they've forgotten during their presentation, possibly?
I'll add something. If you haven't had a chance yet, have a look at AQA's latest newsletter, because there's a lot of information, really interesting information in there about all sorts of things, people's personal stories, lived experience, and services that people have gained through AQA.
Excellent, Larnie. Yes.
Can I add something to Gina as well?
Yes, Noha.
So I forgot to say that support coordination in our team, we don't just support people with physical disability, but we also support cognitive disability and mental health, and we're actually growing in that field as well. So pretty exciting. We've got people with different skills. We have Kayla that holds a Bachelor of Psychology. I do have the experience myself for many years now. And like I think Kim has mentioned also that we have Paige that is a what do you call it? An allied health. I forgot what it is.
Allied health assistant.
Assistants, yes, she is. So yeah, we don't just focus on physical disabilities, but we also offer support to everybody.
Okay. Could you or Emma or Kim like to explain to people what an allied health assistant does?
Yeah, sure. So an allied health assistant is someone who is suitably trained or qualified to assist your allied health team. So they run under the direction of, in our case, an occupational therapist, and they help implement either therapy programs, delivering equipment, setting things up, just bits and pieces, basically. At the moment, Paige is doing all of our manual handling training for all of our support workers. So, and the benefit of engaging with an allied health assistant is it's actually at a cheaper rate. So you get a little bit more bang for your buck out of your NDIS plan, while still getting the clinical supervision of an OT. Because there are some things where, you know, you don't need your OT there for every single visit or every single piece of the intervention. So it's just another option available.
So could an allied health assistant assist an OT, but also assist a physiotherapist as well?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So someone, say, to take you to the swimming pool and assist you in and out and supervise and do a few exercises, that not necessarily a physiotherapist, a senior physiotherapist, she may not be required to, or it's not necessary. An allied health assistant can do that perfectly fine, under the instruction, obviously. Yeah,
that's right. So your physio will come out, assess, maybe diagnose, and then implement like a plan. And then the allied health assistant might actually just work with you on that plan that's outlined by the physiotherapist. Then your physiotherapist checks in every so often to either adjust or make sure everything's continuing on track, etc.
Great, thank you. Any more questions? You probably have seen our direct line, our reception line, which you can always call at AQA and ask the receptionist who you would like to speak to or which service you're interested in. But I wanted to show you Naz gave me a QR code. I can share that with you now if you want to take a screenshot of it. Can people see that? So you can scan that and it will take you directly to an inquiry form where you can leave your details and your inquiry as well. And we'll get back to you, hopefully answering the question or help you with the service that you're after. So I'll just leave that up for a little bit so people can grab their phones, or please know that this is all being recorded. So you will be able to see this in the recording as well. But the general line to call is 9489 0777. Okay, I don't think there are any more questions. So I'd like to thank our 5 presenters today. They did a marvelous job. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank everybody for attending today and for all the great questions you've asked. So hopefully you'll go away with a better knowledge of what AQA is all about. So thank you to everybody.
Georgina, can I just finish out? We talked about all those services, but a lot of people with spinal cord injuries or other disabilities, they have issues with pressure sores, for example. I mean, look, we know quite a bit about pressure sores and how to look after yourself or your health better with, including UTIs and stuff. So if anyone wants to have a chat about what other people are doing, they're welcome to contact us for those purposes as well.
Very good, Naz. Thank you. All right, I might stop the recording now, and thanks to all and have a great afternoon.